So am I waiting? Okay. The time is 6:02 and the July 24th, 2025 regular meeting of the Vernon Hills Park Board of Commissioners is called to order. Would those present and able please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Beaumont.
Here.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Here.
Commissioner Robbins.
Here.
Vice President Dorhoeffer. President Senti.
Here. Items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and are non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If a separate vote on any one item is desired, it will be pulled from the omnibus vote agenda and voted on separately. Omnibus vote agenda items are A, minutes of the regular board meeting, June 26, 2025, B, payables and payroll through July 24th, 2025 in the amount of $953,569.48. And item C, the 2025 National Recreation and Park Association Conference Board Travel and expenses in the amount of $9,552. May I have a motion to approve the omnibus vote agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Beaumont.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins. President Senti.
Yes. Superintendent Mitchell, are there any changes to the financial reports on file for the period ending June 30th, 2025?
No, there's no changes.
Thank you. At this time, the board will hear remarks from the public. Remarks will be limited to 3 minutes and no board response will be given. Are there any remarks to be had? Doesn't seem so, so we will move on. At this point, the board will hear staff reports. First up is Finance and HR Superintendent Jessica Mitchell.
Good evening. In June, the district received $2,770,000 of property tax revenue. The total year-to-date tax received is $3,330,000, or 50.24% of the $6,628,000 adjusted 2024 property tax extensions. As of June 30th, the district has $8,734,000 in cash investments. $4,024,000 is invested in 20 certificates of deposit and treasury bills with various maturing dates over the next 60 months. $4,710,000 is available for cash flow purposes. All excess cash is invested in Wintrust Money Market Fund at 4.6% or at a money market funds with investment brokers with rates of 1.75% to 4.4%. In June, the district's capital expenditures amounted to $123,304. Investment income generated in June was $20,000. A report was included in your July board packet highlighting the summer 2025 Turtle Creek Water Park financials to date. I'm happy to report that favorable increases in traffic at Turtle Creek Water Park resulting in better than anticipated financials. After June closing, TCW had a net revenue of $116,000 compared to $92,000 last summer. Our revenue from Groupon sales has also shown a favorable increase, generating now $43,644 this season. Cheryl shared that we received another $6,942 payment processed on July 22nd. Last year's Groupon revenue was roughly $20,558 at this time. The season continues into August with more expenditures and revenue to be obtained. The regular season will end August 10th with only weekend entry August 16th through September 1st. However, the spring round is scheduled to be open to all until September 21st. At the end of the season, another financial report will be provided for you. The annual post-issuance compliance report for the district as of June 2025 is also enclosed in your board packet. The district is in full compliance and continues to work with Sphere Financial and Chapman and Cutler for support. Additionally, the Arbitrage Group provided a report that outlines the amount the district must pay the IRS for interest earned from arbitrage from the bond series 2023A through May 2025. this cost is associated with the remaining funds of the bond still needed to spend down. The total amount due will not require to be paid until the 5th anniversary, the date of the bond's issuance, which is April 2028. That amount currently is $36,711, which can be spent from the bond funds. At this time of the reporting, the district has spent about 82% of the bond proceeds and anticipates full expenditure by May 2026, based on our current capital improvement plan. Our CIP report outlines these projects also for the spend down. Wage reporting requirements were met for the second quarter of the calendar year. Withholding income tax reports for state and federal tax returns and IDS quarterly wage reports were filed electronically for 2025 quarter 2, which is the tax period ending June 30th. The district's annual member agency contributions to SRA CLC were paid in July for the amount of $180,000. And the finance department continues to prepare for our audit work. Our field work will begin this coming Monday on July 28th, or the week of July 27th, I believe it is. As for human resources, the recreation department continues to undergo personnel changes. Kelly Gillian will assume the role of customer service supervisor at the Sullivan Community Center starting this past July 21st. Kelly has worked with the district since December 2023 as a customer service representative and recently began managing our rental program. The customer service supervisor oversees the customer service representatives and also rental programs at the district. The district also just hired a full-time customer service representative who will report to Kelly at Ziri Samano will begin August 4th. There currently is one additional full-time customer service representative position open at the Sullivan Community Center. With all the abrupt changes and challenges for the front desk at Sullivan this past month, I just want to say that I feel like they sincerely have done a great job up there. Wonderful leadership by Lacey, stepping into that role, and I think it's really shown that it's taken a village or a department to help pitch hit for all of those areas, and they've done a great job with that. Though Little Learners is still accepting applications for another full-time child care teacher, Mercedes Beard recently accepted a full-time child care teacher position at Little Learners. Mercedes started July 21st under the supervision of Ashley Eckhart, the early childhood assistant manager. That concludes my report, unless there's any questions I can answer.
Any questions for, yes, go ahead.
I have just a couple of comments. Now, we just approved the financial statement as of June 30th, but obviously the audit hasn't been completed as of May 31st, so it is possible that the financial statement might change once the audit is complete and adjusting journal entries are made. That was one comment. Another, I just want to warn the board, the Turtle Creek financial statement at June 30th is picking up 50% of the budgeted income on it, but only about 23% of the expenses that we budgeted for the year. So while we do show a profit right now, it's not a true profit because we're showing a lot more income than expenses.
Thank you for that. I was just going to say, yes, because we, when we're taking the revenues in, we're taking that in at the, when the passes are sold and the expenses are only coming in the appropriate months as that's incurred. So we do want to be careful about that, but we are still having a good year, and so thanks for sharing that. We look forward to your audit comments. I know you have some heavy lifting coming up, so thanks for that, Commissioner Robbins. I was just going to also add thanks for that added report. Whenever we get something like that and we do a deeper dive occasionally, it really is helpful for all of us, so thank you. Anything else for Jessica? Matt, did you want to add something to that?
No, we're giving you the look of the report, and when you have higher gate sales, you have more people in your building, you're going to have some higher expenses. But with this new change in the report, the work that Jessica has done, we're able to set aside an allocation for how we think we're going to do for the month, and we're able to track that when we get the actuals. So we're going to reduce any surprises, but we believe that we're having a very successful summer. So.
Sounds great, thank you. Next up is Recreation Superintendent Tom Ritter.
Good evening. Touching on some special events, just wanted to let you know that we were very pleasantly surprised with our first park parties that we offered this summer. You never really know when you offer something new and it's free, and we estimated with confidence that we had probably 500 or more people coming and going to Deer Path Park at our first park party in July. I don't know what to say. We had some games, we had bounce house, we had a band and some food trucks, and it was packed. It was great. It was a really nice night. It was nice to see Nancy out there, and it kept building as after we talked. People kept coming and coming, so we're really happy about that. And that one, as an initial event, inaugural event, we coupled it with our first movie in the park, which was nice. It enhanced it even more, and a couple hundred people stayed for the movie. So our second and final park party was held at Hawthorne Melody, and unfortunately the weather came in, and we knew it was coming in that last minute, but people were coming anyway, and unfortunately we had to, thank you Jay for handling that one. That was kind of he was the man in charge that night. I was out of town, and we had to make that call. We were on the phone a lot that night. We were in a lightning alert. It was just, you gotta follow the rules. So they got about 45 minutes of entertainment, and they still were able to patronize the food trucks. But he sensed a really good crowd coming despite the weather. So it looks like if we continue to add these park parties, and maybe next summer add a third or a fourth one, they're gonna be very successful. So we're gonna look at places that are appropriate to do it. They can handle parking and the crowd throughout town, and perhaps bring the movies with them as well, instead of just keeping them all at one site. But it's great turnouts. A new event we're offering this weekend, Adults Night Out. We did something similar maybe 10 years ago that didn't really go very well, but we've already got 76 people signed up for this Saturday night. So we're gonna, again, food trucks, DJ, some games, hole-in-one contest, swimming, just a nice night out for the adults to enjoy the facility. So you can still sign up for that. I don't think people will see this at this point, but it's $15 a person. You can pay at the door. If the weather holds out, that's the only thing we're nervous about for that one, but can't worry about that until it gets here. Our movies in the park for the remainder of the season, July will be tomorrow night is If, and then August 23rd will be Wonka. Again, these are all at Deer Path Park, and they start at dusk, and they're free. Gotta mention it one last time, Ribfest is right around the corner, August 15th and 16th. We hope to see everybody out there. It is still a 6 to 11 p.m. event on Friday and 4 to 11 on Saturday. And as we've been pushing so strong, Friday's gonna be a country night for something different, and we'll stick with our blues theme on Saturday night. The main draw on Friday will be a Chris Stapleton tribute band from the area that's been very successful. We really think that will impact our turnout. We're looking forward to that. And then we have a lineup of 3 artists on Saturday night to cover the blues. We have 6 rib vendors. We've been working with Binny's. Binny's just committed to support us and give us some pricing on the bourbon and wine. Moving forward, we used to work with Wine and Spirit Warehouse in Libertyville originally for all these years, and they had closed their shop last year. So Binny's has been very supportive of us. So we're looking forward to working with them. And our raffle in the bourbon bar, we always try and have a nicer bottle of bourbon to raffle off proceeds for our scholarship fund. They're gonna sell us a bottle of Blanton's, which I'm not a bourbon drinker, but that's like the Cadillac of. So that should help us sell some tickets. So any Blanton's drinkers out there, come throw a couple tickets in. In the area of programming, we will have a water walking event. We try and do a couple of those per summer at the Turtle Creek Water Park. So on Thursday, August 6th, from 6 to 7 p.m., no admission necessary at 6 p.m. Go in the back and we'll do a resistance walk for an hour. Our table tennis program here at the Sullivan Center continues to flourish. We average more than 30 players per night. We've had as many as 40 to 45 on some nights, and this is twice a week, year-round, Tuesdays and Fridays from 6 to 9 p.m. So it's $6 drop in. If you'd like playing table tennis, stop on by. There's a very, very large group of avid players who'd be more than happy to help you or play with you.
Or beat you.
Or beat you. Yeah. There is some talent there. There is no doubt. Adult softball for the summer is winding down, but we do have fall leagues. Fall leagues will begin after Labor Day. Any teams interested can enroll their teams starting this coming Monday, the week of July 28th. And mid to late August is when we close that registration. Ashley Eckhart, our early childhood assistant manager, will be hosting a couple of preschool meetings for parents, meet and greets, August 28th and 29th. And parent orientation on August 27th. Preschool starts the day after Labor Day, which is Tuesday, September 2nd. It's raining. Did this last time I spoke here.
There's a message in there.
And there goes your softball day. After school program, the PALS program, we're taking enrollment right now. We're about 10 or 12 kids behind our pace from last year, but we still do have 122 children enrolled in the afternoon programs and 41 in the morning programs. Registration closes online only on August 1st. It has to do with busing, routes for the schools and things of that. Trying to track closer who's signing up. So if anyone wants to sign up or makes a decision after August 1st, they can still get into our after-school program. They just need to do it in person at the Sullivan Center. Quick comment about our Reuse a Shoe program. As you know, we partner with Swelco in a variety of ways. A couple of the main ones is we have textile collections in the parking lots of Sullivan and Lakeview. And we have the shoe collections here at Sullivan, and it's every 2 weeks they're full. Every 2 weeks they're full. So she gave us, Merlan, gave us a report that we've collected over, we had 928 pounds of shoes donated this year at the Sullivan Center. And between the two facilities, they've had over 25,000 pounds of clothing. And she did tell us last year, and I kept it in my report, that clothing is the fastest growing waste in the U.S. stream. So it's really important that people repurpose or recycle their clothing if they would. It just keeps it out of landfills. It can help a lot of people along the way if the clothes are in still quality condition. A few new programs that are coming up this fall that people can find in our program guide, which just came out. We have a healing art class. We have some candle making programs. We'll be offering a youth wrestling camp, and we are bringing back our parent-taught open gym, which was very popular pre-COVID. And COVID kind of, germs, and nobody really wanted to do that anymore. But we thought we'd give it a shot. There's usually some demand that starts in October as the weather returns, and we'll be offering that. Did I put it in here? I guess I didn't put what days it is. Is it once or twice a week? I think. Twice a week at the Sullivan Center in the mornings. And finally, just wanted to mention that our summer dance program has 82 children enrolled, plus 29 that were in our pom-pom clinic. So collectively, we had 111, and that was pretty consistent with where we were last year as well. So, and I attached to this report, usually once a year, I give you guys some statistics, some program statistics. Unless you want me to, I don't have to get into the details. I'll just summarize by saying that this report, as each year goes by, you knock off the oldest column. COVID's finally off this column. I still reference a couple comparisons, but basically our day camp program is back to where it was. We have about 250 kids in our program per week, and we have 8 weeks of camp, plus a pre and a post camp. But any given time, there's about 250 kids, and it's slowly creeped back since COVID. Now those numbers are steady. Karate has clearly grown back. We were, right after COVID, we were at about 150, 160. Now we have over 200 kids in our and adults in our summer program. Tennis peaked during COVID. We were over 100, maybe 150 people, which is great, but it kind of caught us off guard. Why tennis? But tennis just jumped. It's now settled down. I wouldn't say it's a declining sport. I just think it's settling back to where it was pre-COVID. We still have about 80 people in our tennis program this summer, so they're still a good partner of ours. Pickleball, it started and it ballooned 23 and 24 years. We had 175 and 165 people, and now we're at about 90. But again, Jay and I kind of discussed this, tried to analyze it a little bit, and as he said, most of our enrollees are people that are intermediate or advanced players. So it's almost like they joined us and they've stayed with us, that we are their place now. But new players, we don't have as many, but there's multiple places now to play pickleball in the area. So that's having an impact. But I'm still happy with 90, but I would explain as why it's down. And dance has recovered very well since COVID, and it's pretty steady at about that number I mentioned, 110 in the summer. Couple programs outside of the summer realm that have a lot of high enrollment, I just wanted to reference. Youth basketball leagues, we had 337 was our enrollment the last 2 years, which is steady. That's above pre-COVID even a little bit. So youth basketball is very strong in this community. Some of our peers even say that, they're like, you guys have so many kids in your basketball program. But, you know, it is what it is. It's successful, and credit to Jay, he's been running it all these years, and it's doing very well. And then our preschool program also has rebounded well and now has leveled off. We have about 113 kids who are in our preschool program this past year. I don't have the coming numbers yet for 2025-26. And finally, I always like to remind remind the board that we do have an evaluation process for our programs. It's really hard to evaluate every single program because I don't think people would keep filling out surveys if you hit every single program. But we try and hit the key areas. We try and spread them out throughout the year to hit key, so there's balance in what we put out there. We will always try and get our pool pass members in September. That's coming up. Day camps in August. End of the school year, we try and get preschool. Anna did PALs in the middle of the school year, thinking I can use the feedback to make the second half better, things like that. So we're always trying to keep up with that. We take that information, the supervisors analyze the information, put together a summary, and if there's any deficiencies or things that we could do better, we try and come up with how can we make it better the next time. And there's also a place on that evaluation form for people to give us their feedback, what they'd like us to offer, because we can't assume. I know we're in this industry, but we don't always know what everybody's thinking, so it's a great chance for us to see what people want to do. That's my report. Unless you want to question this analysis or my main report.
Thanks for the extra information. Does anyone have any questions either for Tom or Jay? Bruce?
Tom, I just noticed while I'm reading your report, there's something needs to be clarified.
Okay.
That Go Walk, you say, is scheduled for Thursday, August 6th. Thursday is, August 6th is a Wednesday. So is it Wednesday the 6th or Thursday the 7th?
No one's going to have a program guide right here. I'm not sure.
Commissioner Jacobs has one, and so does.
Thank you for catching that.
Oh, my.
I believe it's in the aquatic section, Abra. It's going to be on a column on the right side, a list of events that take place. I think it's the right page, the right column.
Water walking, August 6th.
And it does,
It's
Exercise
so the
walk
date
the
is
river.
correct. I just said
Right.
Thursday and it's a Wednesday?
Should be a Wednesday.
Okay. The water walking event will take place on Wednesday, August 6th. Thanks, Bruce.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? I had one. I was just wondering, I don't know if this is better, more for you, Jay. How do we get the feedback for the programs? I mean, is it a combination of electronic, just asking people when they're there?
During the survey, most of the surveys, there are several sections where people can write out written feedback.
Okay.
In addition to just checking boxes.
Okay.
They can give us comments or feedback.
Okay.
And it is, to clarify what he's saying too, is it's electronic typically. We use constant contact and we'll import addresses or email addresses for our class rosters.
Thank you.
Some things you can't do that, so you just have to get feedback at free events by asking people. That's why our presence is so important at special events, is to see how people feel about how is the craft beer event, I guess they can register for that, but just in general,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes orally and the second question, right? You get some good data too to add to the electronic, so
Yep.
thanks a lot. Okay, up next is our Recreation Facilities Manager, Lacey Marinenko. Good evening.
Memberships at Lakeview still remain fairly steady at 1,330 members, but we are seeing a lot more foot traffic through the facility. This is likely attributed to the hot summer that we're having, that people are wanting to come indoors for that temperature control. So Polina's been giving a lot of tours. We have a 5-visit pass for $5 going on right now, a promo that will be going on for the next couple of months. And then we also reactivated our Switch Your Gym promo, so anybody who is currently a member at a different gym and decides to join us can get their first month for free. So this is our second round with that promo. The Summer Education Pass has closed, and we sold 95 passes this year compared to 100 last year, so that also remained consistent. As a reminder, Lakeview Fitness will be closed next week, Monday through Friday. Friday, July 28th through August 1st. This closure is necessary for maintenance projects and a deep clean of the facility. The pool will remain closed through August 8th, and Lakeview Fitness members are welcome to use Mundelein Park District Fitness Center and their pool during this time. And we will also have some fitness classes that will be out on the Lakeview Fitness patio during that week. The current schedule for the Lakeview shutdown is in the Lakeview Fitness app for anybody who wants to see the classes that are available. Our next Member Appreciation Day will take place on August 3rd. And our Member of the Month for August is Kashev Sivaram. He has been a member at Lakeview for about 6 years and converted over from student passes for the summer and winter. So we're excited to have Kashev as our upcoming Member of the Month. For programming, we have Hops and Hatha coming up on August 1st. Participants can sip some beer while they are enjoying an evening yoga session, and this will take place on the Lakeview Fitness patio. Choose Your Way running program is a new program. There's an informational session coming up on July 27th. This program will be run by Jason Chambers, and he will be creating personalized plans for somebody who is looking to improve their running in a 5K, 10K, or a half marathon, and he'll help them set their goals for that. The race day is set for October 18th. Cross Country Prep is a program that started last year for middle school students. This is also a program run by Jason Chambers. This will begin August 5th, and this is a collaborative effort between Jason Chambers and the D73 coaches. And this is to prep for the cross country season. Brain and Body Wellness Yoga is another new program coming up and will emphasize mental and physical health. And there will be samples of Lifeway Kefir at that event, which will take place on August 10th. And we already had our first finisher for the Member Mileage Challenge, so somebody already completed 500 miles. I thought it was going to be Nancy, but it wasn't. So somebody snuck up and beat you. And we had our first swimmer who reached that first mile mark, or the milestone for the swim challenge. So just as a reminder, all finishers, you can register anytime. This will go through April of next year. Anybody who finishes either the 500-mile walk or run or the 100-mile swim will be entered into a raffle for a free one-year membership at Lakeview Fitness. For our community outreach, we have staff that will be attending National Night Out on Tuesday, August 5th. And then they will also be attending the Public Works Open House on August 26th. And we will just be promoting Park District programs and Lakeview Fitness memberships. And that's my report, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Lacey? Thank you very much, Lacey. Next up is Park Superintendent Mark Fleischman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just want to take the time to thank maintenance staff on both sides, facilities and parks. With events set up and staying on top of mowing, obviously the weather has been different this year. The grass has yet to go dormant, and we haven't had a week where we haven't had to mow. So keeping up on that and events set up, we haven't had a break in our normal routine maintenance. So we haven't had that luck yet, and I just want to say thanks to all the park staff for their hard work. As Jessica mentioned, the water park is doing very well comparatively. So with increased heat and water park usage comes increased filter backwashing and maintenance of the pools. So staff has been staying up. They get in early to make sure they can backwash on time so that the pool is ready to go for opening. So another thank you to facility staff for staying on top of it and keeping it up and running. We are, as part of our capital program, we are looking to get fencing installed over at Turtle Creek Water Park to close off certain sections of the water park when things are not open or the spray ground is open only. So we have met with the contractor to get initial pricing. Mainly be useful pre and post season for the spray ground, and the rest of the park is closed. Parks Department is looking to make some minor electrical upgrades throughout the path lighting system. We are hoping to install some photo cells that will control when the lights come on and when they turn off in the morning. Right now, we have them on a schedule. It's inefficient. Our staff, as the light gets darker at night earlier, staff has to go and change the timers. So not only will it be efficient for staff, it'll also be electrically efficient because we can monitor when we need the light, and that's when the lights will turn off in the morning, and then they'll kick back on at night. The Carriage Green Playground is expected to ship on August 4th. We do not have an installation date yet from Cunningham Recreation, but we will share with you guys when we hear from them. And then, as Lacey mentioned, National Night Out is Tuesday, August 5th. It will be returning to Hartman Park this year. I know last year we had the construction and we had to push it to Grosse Pointe, but we are back at Hartman Park. That's my report.
Thanks. Any questions? Echo the board's thanks to the team. It's, summer's a hard time, right? Lots to do.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks.
Matt, are you going to do both reports?
I was
Or-
going to cover some minor highlights from Cheryl's. I wasn't going to do it yet, but I'll bring it up to the
Well,
board.
whatever you want to inform us, our executive director, Matt Laporte.
All right, good evening. I do want to point out from communication and marketing communication manager Booman's report that the brochure has been mailed out. You all have a copy of it. It came in very handy tonight. They reached mailboxes the week of the 14th. Registration for residents did begin July 22nd, and for non-residents will begin on the 29th. I'm happy to, as we get there, obviously, answer any questions and welcome any feedback on some of the action items tonight. We have provided a report on the capital plan, which is our second quarter update for that, and our strategic plan. I think when it comes to the strategic plan, I can add that I received some communication during the week from the board regarding just adding some metrics to that strategic plan, so we will talk about that as a team and see how we can apply that in the future. Additionally, we have a surplus ordinance, and we are moving on to doing that once or twice a year, just to be a little bit more efficient of board meeting time. I think that's that. Moving on to the Grosse Pointe Park renovation project, we have received 75% construction design documents, so we'll give that a review. It is being reviewed also by the village Public Works Department, and we will work towards final comments, and then eventually in August we'll get 100% and move to going out to bid in September. So that project is coming along. During this phase, they did take a look at the baseball fields. We have learned that, and we knew the whole point of this project was to improve the grading of those fields. We know that we have a 3 to 4 foot difference from the home plate to the left field or corner outfield spots for grading, and that's going to need to be addressed. Consideration to the board is preservation of the outfield fencing or getting the fields properly graded to prevent the runoff issues that we have had and the drainage issues on those fields. So I welcome any comments on that. As of now, staff's recommendation is to proceed with a preferred ball field design, knowing that it will require us to at least uproot the fence posts. My direction, my intention is to pursue an alternate bid to upgrade the fencing with some of the proceeds or cost savings from other capital projects, such as the Lazy River painting, to use as a funding source for this. Moving on, the district has submitted a $3 million community project funding grant for the shoreline restoration and CV ditch
restoration portions of the Big and Little Bear Lakes to control sediment emptying into the lakes. Very happy to report that we have continued to move on in our application process. Congressman Brad Schneider has included that in his House Appropriations bill at a tune of just over $1 million. This is one of many projects that was included, and so we will continue to keep our fingers crossed. Tracking it, I have seen that it has passed out of the House and has now moved on to the Senate, and we're supposed to hear on it today. And overall, Congress has until October 1st to draft, continue to negotiate, and eventually hopefully pass these spending bills. Then last, I invite the board to have a discussion on our court conduct ordinance. We've done a review of that with intention to provide some updates to our district's conduct ordinance, and then eventually reproduce our handbook. As we all have heard or seen, we have an increase in electric bicycles, scooters, skateboards, and other devices that is probably calling for an update and addressing in our conduct ordinance. Currently, we do not directly address e-bikes or e-scooters in a manner. We do not address electric vehicles. We address motor, gas-powered vehicles or devices. I have spent some time talking with our attorney, with our village, with other park districts and other villages, looking at what they're doing. We are still very early in the process, so this remains as a draft and an opportunity to receive feedback. I can say that there are some park districts that have gone ahead and passed updates to their conduct ordinances. And I can share also that there are several municipalities that have moved forward with either flat out banning or amending their municipal codes. It is all over the place a little bit, but it is starting to get narrowed down to some of the recommendations that I've provided. Electric bicycles, mainly class 1, are an assistive recreational device. And my recommendation is that we consider permitting those class 1 electric bikes along with regular bikes and ADA mobility devices in our parks, but on designated paved paths. There are some stipulations that a motor is engaged only while pedaling, that a rider yields to pedestrians at all times, that speed does not exceed a certain mile per hour, 15 or possibly 20, which is the maximum these bicycles can go, and that operation is limited to daylight hours unless the e-bike is equipped with the proper lighting in front and the rear in terms of reflectors. The operator, this is some new information. All of these bikes are required to have a class badge on their bike, identifying what kind of class 1, 2, 3 that they are. And that use is only permitted, use is not permitted, is a better way to phrase that, on playgrounds, athletic fields, open grass areas, or during any park district events unless it's explicitly authorized. This would not prevent any ADA accommodations that we would make. But prohibited items would include class 2, class 3 electric bicycles. They're only allowed on the streets. Electric scooters, gas-powered scooters, mopeds, mini bikes, motorized skateboards, hoverboards, or other similar vehicles such as a Segway. Class 4 bikes are regulated underneath motor vehicle law. They're not underneath bicycle law. My provided in your packet a couple different definitions. As of now, there is a trend that's moving towards banning e-bicycles for anyone under the age of 16. And I would just, my recommendation is that we just wait a little bit longer. We align our policy with anything the village puts forth, and we're discussions with them, and then continue to watch what other park districts of municipalities are doing. It'll be a lot easier for enforcement for us. But I think it's really important to the board, really important to our community, that this has caught our attention and that we're working towards some solutions, but ones that are in line with industry practices in our village. So happy to answer any.
So, thanks, Matt. You brought up two issues that you would like some feedback from the board, so why don't we take them one at a time? So how about on Grosse Point, the identification and all this information was in your packet, but feel free to ask questions about looking at regrading the fields and that being a priority versus kind of keeping what we have in terms of the fencing in the outfield. So for that one, I'll go first, and we'll just go around. I'm glad we're doing an alternate bid. I think it's important to get that cost and get that separate. I think because we've waited, so we did kind of wait for Grosse Point. It was a big project, it's a big park. One of the major issues was the correcting the ball field issues, and so we have this big, new, beautiful park, and it's like, for me, I think it would be a shame not to do all of it correctly, but responsibly, so to get that price, and I'm glad that we have some money in our capital budget from savings elsewhere, because otherwise it would make that decision harder for me. So that's kind of where I stand. Anyone want to jump in?
Agree with all said, and I think it's important not only for getting it done all at once and correctly, but also for safety. If there's a potential of somebody running and possibly tripping because of a grade change, I would like to see that addressed.
That's a good point, and I know Matt's brought up there's as much as a 4-foot difference, so it's a lot.
I wonder, is the 4-foot, it's always been there, or is there a reason that that has occurred? And is that, if there is that being taken care of also?
I apologize, I don't know the true history of that and that slope. I could welcome it to the rest of the room, see if anybody has anything.
I mean, to me, it's been there as long as I can remember. And the fence is installed, so the grade couldn't have, the fence is installed properly, so it couldn't have changed much over the last 15, 20 years.
I just want to make sure anything that would redistribute the grounds again would be resolved before.
Correct.
Right, but it sounds like maybe nothing's necessary, so.
Good point. Anything on that one?
No, it seems something seems to be done, needs to be done, but I want to see what the costs are before we even decide what we want to do or should do.
Certainly. I think it was a stepped feedback for staff. Are we even ready to make that decision now? So I think it sounds like we just want to get the cost and
Sure,
then
exactly.
move to the next step.
We just needed some direction to be able to provide to
Yeah.
the consultant on the project, and so that they can continue to work towards their final design. And then we'll get an opinion of probable cost, we'll go out to bid, we'll see where we're at, then we may need to value engineer in different ways.
Now we'll talk about the e-bikes. Again, I hear you just saying, like, you want to take our pulse, so if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I have a few comments on this issue. I like walking in Century Park, and it is as dangerous as can be. With the e-bikes, the e-scooters, go-karts that are coming by you at speeds more than in excess, somebody's going to get hurt really badly, and we need to do something as soon as possible. I mentioned to you that I was walking in a park in Libertyville the other day, and I came across the entrance to the park, and there's huge sign in big red letters, "No motorized vehicles allowed in the park." We need to do something. We need to ban these vehicles, and we need to have not just something in writing and something that no one reads. Signs in every single entrance and every single park that these vehicles are not allowed. It's got to be, because somebody is gonna. I'm telling you, I walk and people come by me, as quickly as possible, and you can't say, slow down, because they're 50 yards past you. Somebody's gonna get hurt real badly, and we need to do something, change these things in writing, but also portray in every single park these signs showing these vehicles are not allowed.
Poster, yeah, thank you. Do you have any thoughts?
Go ahead, Ellen. Go
Well,
ahead.
I thought it was interesting to learn that there's different classes of the
Absolutely.
vehicles. That was very educational to me, and I see that there's a definition here for each. I think we all have our pretty strong opinions on whether they should be allowed or should not be allowed. I think it's interesting to note that 20 miles an hour is an approved, however anybody might feel about it, but 20 miles an hour on a bike path does seem pretty swift. So something we definitely need to take into consideration here.
It's not, I will say, by our current ordinance 15, 20 is the ability level of
Okay,
the
thank you.
class 1, class 2, class 3 can go 28 miles an hour.
And we can resolve this whole issue by saying no vehicles allowed. Then we don't have to worry how fast they're going.
So, regular bicycles? I don't know if anybody knows how fast a regular bike can go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I've been
Yes.
buzzed quite a bit.
I
Also
I
true.
ride my bike regularly, I can go 15 to 20 on a bike, especially on a flat
Sure.
concrete path, I can do 20 on
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of twists and turns, you're not gonna get there, but there's a lot of straightaways on our paths too, you could. So, as someone who uses a lot of the paths also, I get bikers, and it's the state law, they're supposed to say on your right, on your left, or
And they
whatever.
never do.
And they don't, but
Infrequent.
that's, but we don't ban bicycles just because of that.
Yep.
And I think that with, I think e-bikes, class 1 e-bikes are going to become a bigger mode of transportation. They are for people getting to work already. It's economical for some people. You don't have to buy gasoline. They help you assist. You're not like sweating by the time you get to work because it is an assisted pedal. So you can still maintain that 15 miles an hour and get to work, but not feel like you've had a big workout. And to just say, well, because it has an assist, that makes them worse than a regular bike. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't think anybody should be going over 20 miles an hour. I don't think probably anybody should be going over 50 miles an hour on our path. They're just not made for that. But that's a hard thing to enforce. We don't enforce it now. No one stands out there with a radar gun. But I think that there are some rules and some guidelines that we could put in place so that we have the ability to rein in certain behaviors or ban certain, they're like the ones that just have a throttle and you don't pedal at all. Scooters are already banned in the village of Vernon Hills, so that would be an easy place to start. And if we aren't going to ban them in our guidelines, then we should go to the village and say, we're not doing that, why are you? And come to a conclusion together, have it on the same page. But I think just saying ban them all because they go faster than I walk or faster than I run. People bike faster than I walk, faster than I run.
I will share that scooters are a separate law.
Yeah. Just to kind of round out some thoughts, it's definitely time for us to all talk about this and think about what to do. I can count on, I need 2 hands now for personal friends who already have e-bikes, right? And so I think that we want to do this right, and we want to coordinate it with the village because that's important too, but not just wait to see what they do, be part of the conversation because it's a recreation. So while I respect them very much, I know they respect us too, and that we do that together and discuss what's right for our community. I do like to know what other park districts are doing, but I don't want to wait too long and be like, won't have to be bleeding edge, but I don't want to be at the end like, oh, well, the 30 of them decided this, right? I think we can be maybe towards sooner rather than later. I too had no idea about these classes. I'm like, oh yeah, just like other things. So that makes perfect sense. And Matt, you showed me some pictures of like, again, I agree with what Nancy said, a full throttle. Commissioner Robbins, something going fast. I think it's also a speed thing. And so, yes, it's hard to regulate, but I'd like us to have a speed issue. I bike regularly, and when I'm biking by someone, I am saying passing on the left, and I'm probably slowing down to 12 miles an hour. You know, I'm not passing people at 15 miles an hour when it's busy and I'm in a park. And so we have some awesome social media, you know, education, and we can use that as a tool. We can do the signs in the parks. I think there's a lot we can do. Can we police everything? No. I remember this winter seeing, you know, a parent and a tot on the frozen lake, and I'm thinking, oh my God, you're going to fall through. So but then I go over and say it's pretty dangerous, you know. So we have to be careful about that. But I think the class 1, as I understand it, with the speed limit and the education, to me, I go biking regularly with people who have no assist, and then they have the class 1 bikes, and the etiquette and responsibility is the same whether you have the assist or the not. And so I'd like to focus on that, and at this point, I lean towards being cautious about any of the other types of electric vehicles.
I can also share, I was reminded here in my notes that, I don't know it for sure, but a couple of, in some of my research, some bikes that are a higher class have the ability to be programmed or downgraded within their system to a 1, class 1.
Okay.
As well as, so class 2, the difference between 1 and 2 is there's a throttle assist, and there's several different variations of the throttle mechanism, but that also can be disabled.
Yep. Okay.
Or not used. Just a reminder that, you know, what I had stated is that sort of the trend is class 1 is being allowed. Class 1 is something that does allow access to exercise and recreation for those that, you know, ordinarily maybe can't ride a bike anymore physically, or it allows people to go further and be out there longer. So that is a good thing, in my opinion. And then the other is, and I would love to have some direction, or you can tell me to, you know, do more research, but we are starting to see a trend, certainly within the village, not village of Vernon Hills, but just in the municipal world, where they're setting a minimum age of 16 for these devices within their, you know, village boundaries. I have seen another park district, I'll just leave them nameless for now, that they have established a ban on all except for class 1, and they do set the minimum age of 16, and then they do, as Commissioner Robbins was asking or requesting, there are some guidelines on what you can and can't do, but they follow the same basic expectations of a bicycle, in terms of, like, you know, when you're riding in a group, you get into single file, you know, you obey traffic laws and all that kind of stuff. By working towards a conduct ordinance update to address this, in my opinion, I think it does protect the district, because right now it isn't addressed. And if something does happen, we can say it isn't allowed, and here's where it says it isn't allowed. So this person violated, you know, our conduct ordinance.
You know, one of the things I think about, specifically regarding the age, but also backing up for a minute, like, people I know who've gotten the bikes, it's oftentimes like a family or a couple where one's going with the traditional bike and one with an e-bike so they can bike together because they have different ability levels. Again, our job is to get people to get out in the parks and use them in various ways while being courteous. And so I like to ban all of them would be like, oh, well, I can't bike with my friend now or my spouse or my family. And so I wanted to say that I don't have strong thoughts about the age of 16. My first thought was, oh, I don't want to be discriminatory, but maybe another thought could be like they do in some different facilities, if you're with a family or you're with your parents, again, you're using it responsibly. And then I lean towards, the whole family being able to get out and recreate together. Any other thoughts? Yes.
I think we really have to be concerned about safety. And it looks like the trend for villages around us and municipalities around us, for example, City of Highland Park has banned all e-bikes and e-scooters from all sidewalks, all trails. And it looks like the village of Libertyville has banned all motorized vehicles from their trails. I just think we have to be really, really concerned about safety. And, whether a family is out there and one's riding a traditional bike and and the other one's riding an e-bike, my feeling is we just can't have it. We just,
Why is the e-bike, I mean, if it's a class 1 e-bike, it's really not any different than a regular.
because how fast do these e-bikes, again, I've had e-bikes, and I don't know if it's a class 1, I have no
Right.
idea. I've
Yeah,
never
you don't
ridden
know.
one, I know nothing about e-bikes. But I've had them zoom by me really, really fast, coming towards me, and also coming behind me.
And
And
then-
I don't know if it's, again,
Yeah, they could be on full throttle though. I don't
I
know.
don't- I don't
I just
know.
know that they can't
Yeah.
go much faster on a class 1, so if we didn't ban if we banned everything but class 1, it's really no different than a regular bike.
I don't know what a class 1, how fast a class 1
With a
goes.
class 1, you have to pedal.
Yeah, you have to.
There's no throttle, there's no, the assist comes from pedaling. It's just easier to bike and go faster without less effort. So as Jay was using for his analysis, he's a strong biker, he might be out there doing 15, 20 miles an hour because of his conditioning. I don't bike often, for example, I would have to work a lot harder, but with the class 1 assist, I can keep up with his manual effort.
Well, if the class 1 assist is not motorized, then I guess we can allow it as like a regular bicycle.
That is the trend. Last, I also wanted to share that per Illinois law, it is illegal to ride a bicycle and therefore also an electric bicycle on a sidewalk.
Say that again?
Per Illinois law, it is illegal to ride a bicycle or an electric bicycle on a sidewalk.
This is not the paths but a sidewalk.
A sidewalk
Yep.
versus a path,
Sidewalks
okay.
are designated for
Thank you.
pedestrians.
Okay.
Now we can start adding a path.
I know it's the beginning, but I think you've heard some comments from each of us, and hopefully we can also get some comments. You probably have already heard from Vice President Dorhofer, and so to do more research.
I'll continue to do research. I will try to bring a revision to the ordinance forward at an upcoming meeting.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have any. Okay. So for tonight, there are no commissioner committee reports or communications to be heard. There is also no board correspondence that we've received, and there is no unfinished business. So we're going to move along to new business. And our first item is a resolution. It's 0725, a resolution authorizing the park board president to extend custodial service between the Vernon Hills Park District and Perfect Cleaning Solutions, Inc. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 07-25? Second? Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Beaumont,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs. Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
President Senti.
Yes. Item B is the Village of Vernon Hills Resolution 2025-037. It's a resolution authorizing execution of a First Amendment to the license agreement between the Village of Vernon Hills, the Vernon Hills Park District, SMP Development LLC, and the Vernon Hills Soccer Club for use of fields 10, 11, and 12 at the Vernon Hills Athletic Complex. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-037?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Beaumont,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs. Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
President Senti.
Yes. And item C is ordinance 04-25. This is an ordinance declaring as surplus and authorizing the sale or other conveyance of surplus personal property of the village of, of the Vernon Hills Park District, Lake County, Illinois. May I have a motion to approve ordinance 04-25, noting that the secretary's certificate has been corrected to reflect Matthew Laporte as the executive director.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Beaumont,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs. Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
President Senti.
Yes. Our next item is the 2025 second quarter strategic plan report. Executive Director Laporte, can you please discuss anything you want to share with us?
Sure, this is our second go-round of our revised presentation of our strategic plan and our progress towards it. Last May, we brought it to you. The feedback from the board was that this was a nice improvement and a great way of tracking the progress, so I'd welcome any other feedback if there's any tweaks that we need to make. I did note that I had received some encouragement to add some metrics, which makes sense to be able to, in some areas where where it's applicable. How do we know that we achieve it if we don't add a metric? So we can work towards that for the quarter 3 update. And then, I think as we've talked internally as a leadership team, as we approach, the end of 26 or the midpoint of 2026, is maybe reaching back out to the consultant to just continue to help us benchmark and reevaluate where we're going with this, since it is a multi-year plan. And then last, I just want to note that we do weave in these strategies into our staff and department goals. So that is how we march towards completion.
Any comments for? I echo the metrics. I know you heard from me too. I can't recall if this was a 3 or a 4 year. I think, did we step down to a 3-year plan on this one? No, it's 4?
It's a 5-year plan.
It's 5, because we went to comprehensive. Okay, a comprehensive. I think especially for that reason, I love the broader topics that are buckets, I call them, and then the categories. But I think over 5 years, that the leadership team, for sure, and maybe, I don't know if you want any board input, but that's, a strategic. So if it might be in an area that we have a mechanism to just say, hey, there's new information, or we completed things, maybe add something else. So I think that's a great idea that you're doing that with the consultant and revisiting that.
Okay, we appreciate that. We'll budget for it, and we're all here as one, so this helps.
Yep. Okay, we're ready to move on. And then our last item of new business here is the 2025 second quarter capital projects report.
So same as kind of what we did with the strategic plan, as we just kind of marked our incremental progress. This is quarter 2, so it covers April through June. I outlined our progress on the various projects. We did have the completion of the mechanicals for the Lazy River. That keeps the Lazy River up and operating and functional and going forward. We'll be keeping it. It's always a question that we get. But then separately, and this kind of sometimes leads to some confusion, we completed the spray ground, right? We did the punch list, we did the final payment for that, so that's noted. Those two separate projects, even though we think of Turtle Creek as one facility. We did go ahead and purchase our various park vehicles that were outlined in our capital plan. Sort of late in the development of the capital plan, we had been experiencing over the winter months some leaking at the Lakeview Fitness, and we had kind of gotten a bid for roof seal coat to try to resolve that issue. We continued as time has passed on to do some investigative work, and it's really proved to be inconclusive. So rather than go ahead and do that project, we reallocated it and to a higher need, and that was to complete some pump room and steam room repairs at the facility. So we felt like that was good use of making sure those amenities stayed available. So right now, as far as I know, the roof is not leaking in a considerable manner, and unless something has happened recently, are we okay?
Yeah, everything's good.
So we'll continue to monitor that until it proves to be easy to identify the source, and then we'll address it back into our capital plan.
Or potentially, it's an operational item.
Other than that, kind of just updated the budget and where we're at in our spending, and noted a few things that, where we have some savings, such as the, which we've previously talked about, the Lazy River pool painting, and then started to look at ways we could reallocate those. And we're working on projects to satisfy the $240,000 DCEO grant that we received. We are waiting on, we did look at past projects to see if there's anything we can apply. We're still doing some of that analysis. Don't have that for you at this time. And then we are looking at our future capital projects in our asset list. And then we're waiting on our our bridges report for Century Park, which we should be getting soon. So we'll be able to make an informed decision and make a recommendation to the board.
Okay, thanks for that. Bruce?
Matt, I have a question on your report. At the top, under the budget, your first line, capital fund balance as of June 30th, $1,763,000. What is that?
Let's turn to my.
It is the fund balance for the capital fund for what we have, starting, what was it, June 1st, or was it the calendar one? 'Cause-
It would be June 30th, as of June 30th. So that matches our.
Oh, yeah, so that matches the balance sheet for what is reported as the capital fund balance, specific for the capital fund.
So that comes from the reports that we provide to you.
Okay.
So we're consistent.
So when you subtract what you've paid of $794,000,
I think we've
and now what's the remaining $1,578,000? How did you come to?
Remember, this is over there are two different things. You have the fiscal year, and then you have the
exactly right.
the capital year, and they're not the same. And so there's that. Let's not use that number as a balance sheet. That capital fund is always evolving because it's spread over the fiscal year. It's because our capital
over
is a calendar. We
year.
set it as a calendar year. So we have our through quarter 2, we have spent, which is based off the fiscal year. The calendar year. We've spent $794,000 and change. But where we are as of June 30th, our capital fund balance, what we have in the bank is that 1 million more.
Well, it's a little confusing. Why don't we do it instead of on a calendar year, just use the fiscal year?
We would love that.
That would be a board level decision to have a discussion about.
Okay, well, the board has decided.
Not yet, but good point. I mean, I think about how many park district, not every park district has a mid-year fiscal year. Some change that to calendar year. And I don't really know personally today, so that's why I'm not ready to vote, the pros and cons of which one moving. But it certainly would be easier if they were both the same, it seems. So I think we should at least address that issue.
You know, we don't have to
Or
make
get some
any changes
information.
in our financial statement or get approval from the IRS or anything like that.
No,
So-
but
I'd
there
just
might
like
be
to know
some,
the history of why they are two separate
Yeah,
periods.
there might be
So
some
we can make
fun-
an informed decision.
I might be able to help with that a little bit.
go ahead.
So generally, when you start construction in April, it's gonna run over your fiscal year, so it's easier for us. It was easier to say, hey, we know this project's gonna cost us, let's just say $1 million. And so throughout the calendar, you're spending $1 million, but fiscally, you could spend 250,000, 200, and then once it rolls over to the next budget, you don't know. You know, like, that's kind of where you could see it work on the calendar versus the budget. It may be easier to look at on a calendar, because you can say, hey, we're gonna spend $1 million here. And then a budget, you could have the numbers split up over 2 or 3 different.
So you're saying more because of when construction happens over the summer. So there's not going to be a perfect solution.
Correct.
Right? You're still going to look at it, and if we change it and say, well, why is it so little? It's because they haven't been able to do the construction yet.
Correct.
Because we're not in the right season.
So it could,
It's
Yeah.
helpful to know, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a reminder too that one of the reports that we don't show you every quarter, but we do when we're doing the workshops, is that giant spreadsheet that shows all of our projects that we have for the year, the ones that are coming up, and when we think we're gonna spend that money, and that's how we budget. So we know that, and that goes into a little bit of this, calculation, in the lower section of like kind of how much project's gonna be, when those funds are gonna hit, and whether we're on budget or not, but also feeds into the budget request that we make for you guys at the start of the fiscal year, so.
But,
If that number is confusing to the board, we can always omit it, because it is on one of the other reports that you provide.
I mean, all of our accounting, our financial statements, our budgets, everything is based on the fiscal year ended May 31st. So it's not difficult. The first quarter of the budget is June, July, it ends August 31st. It's not that, at least it's in line with all the financial statements and projections that we're looking at.
So would it be appropriate, or would you have enough time to add that item to the August meeting? To look at the idea of changing one of the 2 dates in the future when we're ready? Or would you want to have more time? Or, I mean, I think just getting some more information to us, I think would be desirable. So you let us, and you can get back to us on the timing for that.
Yeah, we can pursue that, and at worst, we could maybe kick it to September.
Sure.
I think it's worth the discovery and the conversation prior to the start of the budget development.
Right. Yeah.
We can work for it.
So you'll just, let us know, because we want to get the right data and information before we make a change, but that's great. Any other comments on the capital report or questions? Okay. No, I don't have any either. So we're on commissioner comments. Commissioner Beaumont,
None at this time, but thanks.
okay. Commissioner Jacobs, okay. Commissioner Robbins?
Nothing this evening.
I have something a little off, but it was very interesting. I read recently Anxious Generation. I was mentioning that to Matt, and I just thought it's this book about generation of play versus phone-based. And interestingly, there was not the whole book, but there were some good comments on how we can encourage play as, the main provider of recreation in the area, and, that some challenge is important, and yes, we want to worry about safety and insurance, and that's very important, but this idea of challenging the kids. So I was thinking back to some of the Teams courses and Ninja courses that we're adding, and it's just, there was some good information on that, and even pictures of the changing, how playgrounds have changed over the years. So I just wanted to mention it because I think, I felt like it helped me learn a little bit more about what I might want to think about when we're doing our parks, but I think we're on track. So that was my little whatever. So may I now have a motion to enter into closed session under 2C1 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, a specific individual who serves as an independent contractor in a park, recreational or educational setting, or a volunteer of the public body, or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. That was a mouthful. Can I have a motion? Thank you. Can I have a second? Any discussion?
What did you say?
Yeah, right? Do you really want me to read it again? Roll call?
Commissioner Beaumont,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
President Senti.
Yes. Okay, so for closed session, I guess we can